How's the day been? How's managing the crop of some of the most incredible talent in the UK at this moment in time?
All good, man. It's super exciting. We're having calls right now to raise for sponsorship, but yeah, all doing well right now.
Amazing. Give me a little bit of background into yourself and a little bit about Kickstart.
So yeah, about myself, grew up in the UAE, moved to London for university, and in London started building Kickstart in August of last year. Kickstart's been around for over 10 years. It was founded by George Robson, who's now a partner at Sequoia Capital. He was the youngest ever partner at 25 years old. Um, and yeah, it's cool. We have like monthly calls with him. Um,
Checking in on how the community's doing. How the
exactly. And yeah, Kickstart is the biggest student-led incubator in the UK. Our alumni have built companies worth over $500 million. And yeah, essentially every year we have a flagship incubation program taking founders under 24 years old from zero to MVP and even beyond that. So help them scale, get funding. And how we do this is through a series of master classes. So this is um, sit downs with speakers. Like this year, we had the founder of Oak North, which is worth $9 billion. We had the founder of Octopus Group, Simon Rogerson, which is worth about $28 billion. And then we also have had the founder of SumUp. Do you know the card machines?
Yes, absolutely. They're everywhere at the moment. I
yeah,
can't find a
yeah,
business that doesn't have them.
yeah. He was super cool. He talked a bit about the future of stable coins as well. Um, and then yeah, a lot of cool people. We had Steve Varsano, the jet guy on TikTok. I'm not sure if you've heard of him.
I have.
Yeah, he's super cool as well. Um, and yeah, so it's master classes. Then every single fellow gets one-on-one mentorship. So this is with like a leader in the industry they're in. So we have YC founders, um, operators in the industry, um, pretty much leaders in every field, even if it's like ridiculously niche. So, for example, we have someone building in prop tech. His name is Dan, doing extremely well right now. The startup's called GradStay, and we connected him with um, a mentor that used to be sorry used to be the business development lead at one of the biggest property firms here. Um, so yeah, whatever industry you're in, we're gonna suit your needs with mentorship. And then we also have kind of networking opportunities with different investors, and then different events whole year round. So like dinners with angel investors, etc. Um, yeah, pretty exciting stuff.
I think it's incredible, and especially when you get some of that talent at such a young age, as they're coming into their formative years. Look,
Of course.
I have genuinely have so many questions. It's so insightful, right? The position that you sit in between, I have access to all of these mentors and all these people that have built billion-dollar companies, are incredibly intelligent individuals and think about the world not in potentially years, not decades, but centuries, right?
Yeah.
Maybe some in millennia, depends on which certain mentors you have access to, right?
Yeah.
But and then the other side of that is like this rich crop of talent, like minds that want to go and do something, build something, or think about the world differently. What are the insights you must get of that? Okay, I think to start off, like why below 24? Is it because they're coming out of uni? Why not go lower? Is there a reason?
I think it's because the majority of people under 24 years old are just out of university or even still in university doing their PhDs, or whatsoever. And what we've realized is students is a big underserved market, especially in Europe. In the US, you'd think that majority of startup founders are under 24. If anything, here they're kind of underlooked, and people say they don't have experience, etc., etc. And we're trying to prove that completely wrong. Um, Talent here is completely underserved. Yeah, 1000%, especially the younger ones. Um, and yeah, like we have the best universities in the world, um, and we should be shooting out companies like the US does. Um, but yeah, we're not there yet. We're trying to get there.
In terms of some of the talent and these young individuals that are beginning to build companies, what are the archetypes you see between them? Like you must go through multiple crops, of course of the years, potentially decades. And are you building up a mental model of like the characteristics of what makes up someone that can withstand the pivots and the longevity of building a company?
Yeah, so what's cool is we get to see a bunch of people throughout the like entire application process. So this year specifically, we had over 2,000 applicants, 44 people get in. Um, and yeah, I think of the best, usually archetypes are engineers who started extremely young. I think that's the number one thing we see. Um, who's on Yeah, yeah, 1000%. I think London does have some top engineering talent, especially from Imperial, UCL. Those types of universities, I think that's the number one thing we see when we see a startup do well is they start incredibly young. I think they also start to sell incredibly young, and they're able to convince people really easily, um, just naturally. Like it doesn't they don't have to kind of be trained on it, or it requires kind of little training to um, have someone be incredibly good at selling. Um, yeah, I think those two things are the top two things that we see in successful founders from Kickstart.
When it comes to the universities that end up producing some of the best talent, is it just the Oxford Cambridge crop and Oxford Cambridge Imperial crop of talent? Or do we look at some of the Russell groups and go, actually, there is a lot of underserved talent there that potentially wouldn't be completely overlooked by everyone at that age?
Yeah, like I myself didn't go to a Russell Group university. I went to City University of London, Bayes Business School. So yeah, I think there are definitely underserved communities beyond the Russell Group Oxbridge universities. Um, the majority of our funnels have been just like Imperial, UCL, LSE, just because they're more talent dense. I'd say they're kind of already filtered for like the best engineering talent potentially. But yeah, I do see that some people, for example, may not be able to afford these universities or may have other troubles to end up there. So yeah, we do definitely look beyond there. We're trying more recently to actually push beyond them and look for other universities which are even more underserved.
Do you feel like at some point you're going to go lower and lower in age, just not just 18 to 24 and get down to kind of like, we're going to survey primary school?
Yeah, like this year we even had a guy that was 17 years old, but he'd already kind of proven himself. I think he'd won like a swimming championship, and he was just extremely smart, so we had to kind of let him in. But and he was still in high school, so yeah, yeah. Like I do definitely see people at younger ages coming in the next few years.
And so when you're looking for outliers, is there like how do you test them to get them into Kickstart? Is it an application process of interviews? Is it hackathons? What does it look like?
Yeah, so there's a few things um, for the application process. We go through like a few different stages. So the first one's just like a screening of um, basically the applicant sends a video to us telling us about either their idea or their background, and we kind of look at that and pass them through to the second round. Um, and then beyond that, we get on either calls with them or meeting for coffees in person and actually just judge whether or not they'd be a fit for the program. Um, and this is again typically just based on their their competitiveness as they were younger, the what they've built since they were like 5, 6 years old, if they were able to sell from that age. I think that's the number one thing we see. Um, even if they're like currently building. Sorry.
You have individuals that have passed through the program that have sold at 5 or 6. Like they are monetizing whatever business that they're doing at 5 or 6. That is incredible.
It doesn't have to be a business, but even if they were like shining shoes for their parents or something of that sort, or like even just lemonade stands or garage sales, um, I think it's a good indicator for talent even now.
Lower and lower. I so they come through the program. They come through the application process, and then they obviously go through these mentoring meetings. What's the output of Kickstart? Is it that they finalize an idea and then start shipping and start building, or is it that you get them to that stage to allow them to post program?
Yeah, exactly. So the whole vision is to get them to that idea stage, potentially get them funding at the end of the program. So have them raise like a pre-seed round, or just have them have revenue of any sort. Um, Usually, if they're kind of like software startups, it's a lot easier, but hardware takes more time. Um, yeah, that's what we've seen. It's usually either they have revenue by the end of the program, or they have like a complete idea built out and money raised.
Is the goal to be something similar to YC, or is the goal something larger than that?
Yeah, I think something similar to YC is what we're aiming for. Um, yeah, I think a YC of the UK makes sense, in the fact that we're at the earliest stage of the talent funnel. We pick them out from fresh out of university when they're still studying, even, and yeah, that's the whole vision for Kickstarter.
Is there something like how does it work inside of the ecosystem? You have Kickstart at such a young age. You have Project Europe going even further below that. You have EF also looking for underserved talent, as they call it, talent investing. Finding individuals before they've even realized that they can build a company or are founders, quote unquote. Do you feel that there's a pipeline almost that you're building for allowing people to go through incubators and programs as they evolve their mentality?
Yeah, I think we're building the earliest stage of the pipeline. So even before EF, we even let people in without an idea, um, without a co-founder, and have them match if they don't already have one. Um, I think, yeah, being at the earliest stage of the funnel is something that we don't have in the UK. There's no real pre-seed other than like accelerators like Entrepreneurs First. Um, and yeah, we're even before pre-seed, so like when they have absolutely nothing.
Talk to me about UK as a whole at this moment in time. Is it just UK and Europe Clickstart, or does it look to the Middle East as well to bring in talent?
Yeah, for now it's just the UK. We're trying to target the UK as much as possible, but we do have plans to enter kind of the GCC region, Asia, in the near future. Um, yeah, there are plans at the moment that should be coming soon. Yeah.
We're doing some serious reporting today. Um, Look, I think Kickstart is incredible at what it can do, and I've looked at some of the talent that has come out. Some of the bets that you've made internally on talent that has come through and then built companies. Can you talk to me about some of the success stories that you've been a part of?
Um, since I joined quite recently, there aren't many kind of crazy success stories. But for example, this year with our program, there was a girl called Tanya who came from Edinburgh. She moved from Edinburgh to London for the program, and she was still kind of like 18, taking a gap year before university to build a startup. And she went from zero with an idea, but it did need tweaking, with kind of zero guidance at the time, to I think 2,500 monthly revenue. So it's not bad. It's nothing crazy, of course, but it is a start in a few months to kind of go from zero to having a few $1,000s in monthly revenue isn't something everyone can do.
I think it's incredibly difficult for someone who's, or like a lot of the UK, where we think in this service mindset, right? We supply services and it's sort of unscalable to begin with, right? But
Yeah,
then you software and you think, well, 2000 like 2000 MRR just out the box in a couple of months on this product with incredibly high margin.
yeah,
Like that is insane. Imagine 2000 people coming into your store and buying something. Wild.
yeah, yeah.
What
No,
is
it's
your
crazy.
what is your opinion on the UK as a whole at the moment, the ecosystem? What have we got to do to improve? Obviously, you're a part of that process of putting us back on the map. I'd love to understand how you think about it.
Um, I think I think the UK needs um, programs like Kickstart and communities that do unite at the earliest stages, because there's kind of like a compounding effect to everything from the very beginning. So let's say um, there's a compounding effect in the sense that when you start somewhere, and let's say you don't enter a program versus you enter a program, the outcome 10 years from now is completely different, if that makes sense.
That does make
um,
sense.
Everything has like a follow-on effect.
And today, what do we have to do? Is it that we need to invest more and take risks? What's the mental model there? What's your thesis on like how can we get back in front or on par with the US, who is primarily the biggest like sucker of talent out of the UK at this moment in time?
Yeah, I think the UK is completely underserved, like I said before. And I think if we invest and take more risks from earlier on, we definitely be able to be on par with the US in terms of um, even the amount of money invested at the earliest stages. You hear these stories of people going from the UK to San Francisco and raising just in a few weeks what they couldn't raise in months here. Um, so yeah, I think looking past um, experience at the earliest stages, for example, or looking past a lot of things that could be red flags at the earliest stages and taking more risk um, would definitely put the UK forward.
Do you think we have to work in collaboration with Europe? Because obviously we are part of the bloc in some sort of, well, not some sort. We are part of the bloc. You know, there's a lovely nuance in culture that we have with Europe and all of the factions that exist within that, right? Whether that's Spain, Italy, Germany, Paris, Sweden has some incredible startups, the Nordics, right? And it only gets better. You go towards Estonia, like $1 billion startups, like the
Yeah,
highest density of talent ever. I
yeah,
feel like, right?
yeah, yeah. No,
Um,
it's crazy.
how do you think about that as the world? Do you feel like it's at this moment in time that it's the US versus us, um, and Europe, or actually we should be working in collaboration? Like go to the US, go get funding, great, but just come back here and build. This is a place to build, and we support that.
Yeah, um, yeah, 1000%. I think Europe is on the rise. You've seen Sweden, Paris, Berlin, London, all generating top talent and startups that have clearly outpaced the general public. Like you've seen Lovable, for example, go from what? Yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous. In like 7 or 8 months from launch. Um, ARR. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's insane. Anton's is insane. Um, yeah, yeah. I definitely think like even Synthesia in the UK has done extremely well. There are a few other startups I can think of off the top of my head, but yeah, I do think that um, raising capital from the US right now is just a lot easier. So why not do it? Um,
Like you're seeing people like, well, as I said, going to the US, getting
yeah,
capital, and then coming back.
1000%. There's a lot of people doing that. I think it's the easiest way to raise money right now. I think raising in the UK is a lot harder. Um, in the US, if even if you just have an idea and like a prototype or MVP, it's a lot easier. There's no true pre-seed um, I don't think there's any like true pre-seed or very little at least um, funds in the UK or Europe as a whole.
I completely agree. It feels like YC is the center of the world and San Francisco. When it
Yeah,
comes to building anything, it's like, go there,
yeah,
do it
yeah, yeah.
there.
Genuinely,
And London is this, it's an incredible density of talent, as we just said. Europe is a beautiful place to build. When we talk about work-life balance, you can have a beautiful place to live and build, just put in the work. Um, that is obviously a huge factor.
yeah.
Before we go on, please.
I think even things like life expectancy here is a lot higher because people walk around a lot more. Work-life balance is definitely like something that pushes founders here. I think. Um, I think yeah, I think the culture of working like 16, 20 hours a week in San Francisco is a bit much. I think you can still build a sustainable company with like a good work life balance.
It's quite interesting. We've got a lot of different people saying, like, whether it's 966, the Valley's on like 24/7, but
Yeah,
it feels as if, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. To build a generational company today, you got to work your ass off,
yeah,
right? And that is the risk you take. You sacrifice your social life, you sacrifice a lot of things, but you make up for it in experiences and very specific experience. It feels like we had some founders who were building out of the castle in EF in
oh
Germany
no
at the
way.
moment. Yeah, so they jumped on live just before you. Maris and Amir building
Nice.
Project OS comes live tomorrow, and it's like they don't talk about work life balance. They talk about I want to find experiences in my life and have as many new experiences as possible. And I think
Yeah,
Europe allows for that because we are almost center of the world, right? Like you don't have to, you can leave the country and go into other places, right? Whether that's,
yeah.
the Middle East, you go a couple hours later and it's Asia. You can go to the
Yeah, yeah,
US on
yeah,
the East Coast. It's like it's the perfect place. You are 5 hours away from almost everything.
yeah. No, I
Before we
completely
wrap,
agree.
talk to me about the latest cohort. When does that start? Are applications closed, or can people still find and join?
Applications open next month, and we close applications the month after that. So applications should come out mid to end August, um, and in end of September, and then cohort starts in October. We move pretty quickly with this type of thing. So
And what are you looking for in terms of individuals? Should they have a product? Should they have an idea? Or should it be someone that's thinking seriously about taking a risk on their life and betting big on like becoming a founder and satisfying themselves in that way?
I think that is the biggest thing we're looking for: the time commitment to actually drop, not drop everything completely, but drop a lot of things and fully commit to building their startups full time while in university or just graduated, whatever the case is there.
While this has been, have I pronounced your name right?
Yeah, that's
While
good
this
actually.
has been incredible. Like, thank you for the insight. I don't feel like you've like from the content that exists on Kickstart on the web, you've been able to explain it in such detail as you've done today. I'm looking forward to you having you on again before the cohort starts, after the cohort ends. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for the time.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Viraj.
Appreciate it. See you soon.
Bye bye.